This episode of Let's Talk Natural Medicine is brought to you by BioGlan MedLab, proud platinum partners of ATMS. Built on 50 plus years of healthcare experience and nutritional science, BioGlan MedLab delivers practitioner-only formulas, trusted by practitioners, loved by families. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Natural Medicine, the Legend series. I am joined by Kaiya Seaton today, who is a practitioner of over 40 years experience in Western herbal medicine and Shiatsu. Kaiya began practicing in 1983 and has worked across women's health and private practice, education, government training. She's really been one of these pioneers who has helped shape natural medicine, the way it's taught across Australia. So we're going to be able to unpack her journey today. And so welcome, Kaiya.
Welcome. It's wonderful to be here.
So you've been practicing for over 40 years. When you reflect on that, what stands out the most to you?
I was just thinking about things the other day of how it's a learning journey that you never stop. Still doing sort of workshops and expanding my knowledge. But one of the things that really stands out for me is how wonderful it's been to be part of the CAM journey, learning about this deep, rich, old knowledge, traditional ways of healing, and to have devoted my life to doing that. It feels quite special. And that combination of Western herbal medicine, Eastern philosophies, Eastern medicine, whether that's Shiatsu or Ayurvedic medicine. But yes, and to be able to share that with my clients and just pass on, self-help guidelines, whatever that is, whatever they need. Yes, it just keeps me going. It's, as they say, food for the soul, and it's been a wonderful journey.
Oh, it'd be incredible. And so for listeners who may not know much about natural medicine, how would you describe your work in simple human terms?
So one of the things I teach about complementary medicine is one of the basic principles of it is the body has an innate ability to heal itself given the right conditions. So whether those conditions are stress management techniques such as meditation or breathing, whether those right conditions are supplying herbal medicines that help reduce inflammation, help increase digestive function, whether that is giving guidelines on how to stretch the body, how to move energy through the meridian system. It's all about me being a conduit in a way of allowing a person to get back to that realization. I think that's so important in this day and age that people can feel both centered, connected, and empowered.
Oh, what a beautiful explanation. Now, you originally studied herbal medicine with legends such as Dorothy Hall and Dennis Stewart. What drew you to the path, and how amazing was it to be trained by people of their caliber?
I still think back to it and think, oh, it was just so wonderful to be with those pioneers at the time. And my journey was, I started off, I left school, I started to think, what will I do? And I decided teaching. So I got into English teaching and psychology. So the workings of people, their personalities has always appealed to me. And I came out when there was a glut of teachers. And I was thinking, oh, okay, I was doing some casual work going, this isn't what I thought it was going to be like, doing a lot of discipline. And at the time, I had a friend who was studying I think she was studying at Nature Care College, and we used to sit down for hours and we just talk and talk about what she was learning. And I thought, you know what, this is resonating with me more than teaching.
Mm.
So I had a look who was teaching in the area and saw that Dorothy was teaching at her hall in Roselle at her college there. And I read the blurb and thought, personality profiles and linking that with herbs and going into things like, biology, which I'd always loved at school. And I'd always loved nutrition. I was the type of kid who wanted cookbooks for presents at Christmas and that type of thing. So nutrition and the power of food and healthy eating. And I thought, wow, she's ticking all the boxes. So I didn't know that much about Dorothy, but once I started learning with her, just her depth of knowledge, her passion, and, living the talk of what she was doing. So I studied with Dorothy and then thought, oh, I don't want to stop here. So I'd talk to friends about Dennis Stewart too, and they have two quite different approaches, and that appealed to me. I thought I wouldn't mind learning more about research around herbs, about the active ingredients, the scientific side of herbs, and also the manufacturing of herbs as well. I can remember wonderful field trips with Andrew Pengelly, being out in the field, they were a really nice fit for me. And the other person I studied with, one of the legends as well, was Simon Schott.
Yes.
So I went up and it was mind-blowing actually, learning sacred geometry, alchemy, alchemic preparations of herbs with him, as well as colour therapy, auric field correction, all that type of thing. And this was all starting to meld for me because at the time I was studying with Acharya, and I was sort of at one stage thinking, yes, I'll get into yoga teaching because, I was asked if I'd do that. But I was always drawn to that more expansive, universal laws, ways of looking at the world. So all of those four people were quite instrumental in where I am now.
Incredible. And you must have noticed the natural medicine landscape has changed so much since that time. So when I think people back then even knew they were pioneering in this space, and were certainly not recognized as the preferred choice in medicine. And so you must have noticed so much over 40 years of how much it's changed today.
Yes. And those changes, there was still that feeling of almost like an apprenticeship, sort of working with a mentor and them guiding you, that closeness of working together. And also, yes, being in a field that very much off to the side, nothing to do with actual healthcare system, anything like that. So seeing some changes there has been wonderful as well. But the changes, and this has been one of the things that I did as well, is looking at what sort of training people are getting now. So I'll just jump ahead a little bit when answering and say it was wonderful learning from people. They had their own expertise, their own passion about what they wanted to share with you. But there were other aspects. And as I did with, so Dennis and Simon, you could either go and look for those yourself if you knew they were there, or coming to the space of, for this to be a national training scheme, we need to look at and gather expert opinion on what students should be learning. So I must say, one of the downsides was some trainers, and this was in the very small minority, but going, oh no, you're not doing things exactly my way, so I'm not going to pass you yet. You've got to show me that you're doing it like this. And then being able to say, no, everybody needs to learn this. These are the exams to show that people have this knowledge. Standardized, yes, what people learnt instead of, some sort of idiosyncratic elements, let's say.
Mm.
And having done that, that then allowed organisations, health funds to go, oh, this is the standard of what people have. This is what they know.
Mm.
Referrals from doctors going, oh, okay, they do know about pathology and they do know A&P and they, yes, so that was a plus side. Sorry,
Mm.
Annie, I
No,
diverged
that's
there.
wonderful. How did your early work when you were a resident naturopath at Blue Mountains Women's Health Centre shape you? I know that's become a big passion area of yours.
Yes, so I did the big move up to the Blue Mountains. I had my first child, I wanted to bring him up away from the city. And it was a wonderful community to get into. I first of all got into the natural, the first national home birth conference that was organised up here. And from there, I was thinking, what will I do with my qualifications now? So I went up to the Women's Resource Centre, it was at the time, which had a little room where they do healthcare work as well. And it was becoming so popular that we decided we need our own building and to focus on healthcare for women. And so at the time I was volunteering my time there. I just wanted to share, all this wonderful knowledge that I'd
Yeah.
learned. So that not only um, meant being the resident naturopath, but it also meant being on the collective.
Mm.
So this is where I started knowing, oh, okay, you've got to tick some government guidelines if you want grants, if you want submissions. Where is our place in the healthcare system? What are they expecting us to provide? So it was, yes, we'd have a doctor there, we'd have nurses, but we'd also have massage therapists, we'd have counsellors, we'd, have me as the naturopath, and they were very focused on sharing knowledge as well. So in there, I got training how to run community groups, how to talk about family planning, how to focus on issues specific to women's health, as well as all this policy writing and that type of thing going on. So that really made me appreciate how wonderful it was just as a woman sharing with other women
Mm.
what I found helped me and also what I'd learned about alternatives to, okay, I don't want to go this way. What can you offer me to be able to do that? And as we know from statistics, there's a majority in complementary clients, complementary medicine clients that are women more than men
Mm.
as well. So, not that I've really I work with anybody, male, female, children, etc. But that was the start of my specialisation. It was very supported by the
Mm.
whole training I got in women's health as well.
Sounds wonderful. And I know you went on to run the Katoomba Natural Therapies Centre, and you would have become such a stalwart in the community, working with women and their families, teaching about healthcare in that collaborative group. You've obviously got, yeah, doctors and nurses and other people with you. It must have been such an incredible thing to actually get to a stage of thinking it would be a great idea to, I can't imagine this community not having this resource to draw on.
Yes, yes, it was. And it's still going strong, very strong.
Mm.
And but I got to the stage for myself that I thought I'd like to go into private practice. So
Mm.
that's when I started Katoomba Natural Therapies
Yeah.
Centre. And I started that in 91, and that was wonderful too. So I'd had that collective experience, and I sort of transferred that into helping to manage my own centre as well. So I had, acupuncturists, somatic counsellors in there, massage therapists, Bowen therapy. So yes, and it was, Annie. One thing that I still really appreciate is my place in the Blue Mountains community here, and how I'm regarded, and how, like with clients, they'd say to me, "Oh, would you mind giving a stress management talk to, a nurse's workshop? They're working as a nurse, or that." Another client I had saying, "Look, what you have to offer, it'd be really good if you could give a workshop to our team at the mental health centre as alternatives there." So, yes, it just, that networking just kept going out. And part of that was with the Women's Health Centre, the presentations and groups I was running there as well. Yes.
You become that natural choice when you're embedded in a community, and it's wonderful because you don't have to be as salesy. People just find you, and word of knowledge shares
And
the benefits, and they come back. Yeah, exactly.
and
Now, it's not surprising that you actually then turned into that love of teaching, that you went there for a reason, and obviously along the journey, you then moved back into teaching, and I know you ended up writing the diploma of Shiatsu and Oriental Therapies at TAFE. Was that a surprise to you that you thought, "Oh, I've left teaching, I've now gone into something else," and then all of a sudden it crept back in, or was it actually just always going to happen?
No, it was part of me. So, I was teaching, doing these groups. I did a bit teaching herbal first aid and vegetarian cooking at the day and evening college at Katoomba along the way. So I think I've got teaching in my blood.
Yes.
But how that came about, I started at TAFE. They wanted specialties as part of the massage course. So I'd talk a bit about Shiatsu, about Ayurvedic massage as well. And then I started, as can happen, "Oh, would you be prepared to teach some pathology or differential diagnosis or law and ethics?" And so I'd say, "Yes, that's fine." So I was starting to teach more and more. And then I thought, this is a wonderful place up here to be able to spread my love of Shiatsu. So I came up with there was the outline of what the diploma needed to cover, even the national standards. But I got together a course and co-taught that with another wonderful woman, Anne McDermott. So we both got the diploma of Shiatsu up and running up in Katoomba. And yes, sort of that change with different funding models that were coming in with TAFE as well. I'm still there doing massage, but yes, that was wonderful to share that.
Oh, fantastic. And how have you approached mentoring and teaching the next generation of practitioners compared to the way you were taught? Do you feel sometimes that they didn't have as much freedom, like you were in an exploratory sort of season, whereas that's right now it's all about what does the criteria say, and you have to jump through hoops, you have to learn exact things. Has that shaped the way you mentor people now?
Yes, and that focus on, when I'm teaching a course, I'm very sort of, the boundaries are around assessment criteria and what needs to be shown so that I can tick the box and say, yes, they've passed this. But I also found other ways of mentoring, such as taking on, where I started, actually, I hadn't thought of this, was I would actually offer high school students work experience. So they could come up to the practice and learn what being a CAM therapist was all about. And that was lovely, just being able to, in my practice, show them the workings there. Also, I'm also a member of STAR, the Shiatsu Therapists Association, so I've done some mentoring through there. And those situations have been more freedom of, this is what I'd like to pass on to you, this is what I'd like to share with you, more than, yes, you've done this assignment and gone through all the performance criteria and I can say yes. Yeah.
You must have noticed so many huge changes in the whole training and regulation. It's almost like shifts every time a training package changes, or even with health funds having more influence into what's required for rebates and things like that. Has that been a positive thing or a negative thing for you?
Both. So I personally was thinking, what is going on here when health funds felt that they could dictate the training that needed to be done by, say, massage therapists in the number of hours of clinic that they were saying, you've got to have done this or we won't accept you. And I thought, that's us on dangerous ground here, having our training dictated by organisations that don't have much of an idea of the core of what we're doing. So there was that side of it. Once we, as a healthcare community, start integrating more into mainstream healthcare, there was the wonderful experience of working with the other like-minded people to come up with training packages, that sharing of our knowledge and our experience and saying, this is what students need and this needs to be added in now, such as, being more digitally savvy about what's going on, because you need, your digital invoices for the health funds now, all that type of thing going on. So being able to share what we were seeing, changes that we were seeing, and going, okay, this needs to be added in. And one thing that I thought was wonderful and worked on was the addition of the applying the principles of pain management to the massage qual now, because I see that as an area where that integration, and research is showing this too, can happen so wonderfully for clients. And one thing that we do as natural therapists is we do spend more time with our clients. We do work with the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and all this, I think, is really important as, say, dealing with pain. So being able to say, no, this is an essential part of training in complementary therapies now. Yes, sort of that's the more positive side. And I know you've got a pain symposium coming up again.
We do. We do have a pain symposium, an integrated pain symposium coming up in March. So we look forward to seeing you there and many of our listeners as well. It's in Sydney. I think there are so many risks when natural medicine isn't understood at a policy level, at an educational level, at, even with health funds maybe. And it's so important to have the practitioner voice and experienced practitioner voices heard in this space. And I think, people who've had your kind of experience, it's really wonderful that we can really highly value and find ways to make sure that that voice is heard, strongly.
Yes, and avenues that it's absolutely necessary to do that, like the Natural Health Review.
Yes.
Where we were told you have to come up with the research or you're not going to be on the, health fund rebate list. And again, I try and look at the positive in everything, and that did really put an emphasis on the type of research we need and the quality of research that's around as well, and the depths of research where there are gaps, of course. But that's quite a change I've seen. That move from when I was studying, we don't need to prove anything. We know what we're doing, and, we've got this wonderful knowledge, and people will come to us because they value what we share. Now it's okay, we want to be more part of respected, recognised in the healthcare community, be that allied health as well, that we need to back up our claims. And that's something that I find quite heartening, the sort of wonderful research that's around now that shows that, and how that's expanded, whether it's, in pain management, that, massage therapy has been shown to be as effective as pain medications for, mild to moderate pain, how it works well, just as well as, say, physiotherapy or other modalities as well, that we can work together doing that too. So, yes, and another thing that I thought of as well is, and where I drew on that working with government organisations and policy making, is we're in a changing world now and we need to adapt. And I think what really brought that home was COVID, the COVID pandemic. So suddenly we're being told, no, you can't practice. And we're going, what? And you're part of the healthcare community, and you need to follow these guidelines, these mandates that we're coming up with. So that, I think, was a real awakener for people too, of that sort of double-sided, we value our own knowledge versus we're working in this particular field with, doctors, with researchers, with allied health professionals. We're all in this together. And something that I found wonderful was how the CAM Society responded to that, both nationally and globally. The amount of support that came pouring in of how to deal with this situation. And I found that very heartening as well. And, suddenly, we had people going, I've got to learn about online consultations and etc., and really step up my understanding of infection control and what else can I do there. And so, yes, and I see that as a good testing ground for, I'm sure there's more changes to come as well. And I see the cycle coming back to needing more grassroots knowledge of foraging, of what's in your backyard that you can, use yourself in your kitchen, in your own healthcare, because we've seen changes in availability of herbs now, of supply issues that were going on at the time. So, yes, very sort of evolving times that we're in too.
They sure are. And now when you look back over your 40-year career, what are you most proud of?
I would say being acknowledged as a valuable part of the healthcare community up here, that I've had, lifetime clients that are still with me, that we, they trust me with their healthcare journey. I see that as a great privilege, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm also proud of my own evolution in this field too. It's like once you open yourself up to the power of this healing to the natural world and how we interact with the energies of the environment sort of all around us, that you're supported on this journey as well, and led in different ways. Like and it never stops. That's what I like too. That I'm learning more about bush medicine in our area. I'm learning more about going back to Simon's work, quantum Shiatsu, and working with sacred geometry and sort of energetic patterns there. And it's like the universe sort of takes you in its arms and carries you along and helps you with this work. So I'm very proud of being a part of that too.
And is that what continues to inspire you, that there's just so much more to learn, like to learn off others, to learn different ways? It's that constant, it's almost like where you were when you began to see there's different ways of seeing things and approaching things. And it sounds like 40 years later, that's actually still the way you operate. It's like, oh my gosh, there's just still so much to learn.
Yes, very much so. And I also just as I said, that privilege of being able to adjust my knowledge to where we are now with, say, women, helping them, through PMS, through pregnancy, through working with their children, through menopause, and into, sort of into the symptoms that can come with aging as well. It's like, yes, we're in this together, and how can I better do that? Sort of what else can I do now? And it certainly keeps me interested. I mean, you've probably picked up, Annie, I love researching, I love learning. And it's such a wonderful and vast field to be able to do that. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your journey with me and all of our listeners today. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for all of the service that you've given to the Blue Mountains community. I think they are really blessed, as well as you obviously see it as an honour and a privilege. So thank you for the work you've done and for sharing with us today. And to our listeners, it's been great to have you join us, whether you're tuning in on Spotify or LinkedIn Live or YouTube, any of our platforms. Definitely give us a 5-star review, share this episode with a friend, and definitely drop in some comments. We'd love to share with you. If you're wanting to join our community, join Friends of Natural Medicine. It's free. You can click on the QR code if you're watching this video, or go to atms.com.au and click on Friends. You'll get regular educational information, free recipes, blogs, so much more. We'd love to have you join our community. Until next week, stay well, stay healthy, and start thinking more about natural medicine.